Are we live? Let's confirm if we're all good to go. Yeah, we are live. And Coco, you have to go. All right. Go lay down. All right. We are back. And today, the goal is to start working on the fork version of Langflow to add single sign-on to the project. Update the back and the front end. But first, some cleanup. So we did do network policies. That one is done. We're happy with that one. And we did fork it. So that's the next thing we're working on. Right, there's a few things that we had to fix. One thing that we did in the Helm chart, just FYI. Where is the chart? There we go, here. So we did bump up the version because we're missing property here, this one here. So turned out our setup was okay. It's just you need to enable Prometheus with this variable, set it to true, and give the port to be able to scrape the metrics, okay? So let's validate that before we move on. So yeah, so we updated the Helm chart, as you can see here, added variables here, dynamically injected when metrics is enabled, and we set Prometheus to true, and we set the port, okay? So these are the environment variables that are required. This is so the second server can start for collecting or scraping the metrics. So that was missing. Let's move this to the side. So let's get organized here quickly. Too many windows open. All right. So let's just confirm that everything is fine with Prometheus, scraping the information. So we can port forward to, let's put to Prometheus. It's an observability. Namespace. We do have on the screen somewhere here. Yeah, we do. Okay. There we go. So it's collecting metrics from Langflow backend deployment. Let's see what kind of metrics it's collecting. So let's go to, so Prometheus Explore. Let's see if we can find one, just to verify. Something Langflow. What is this one? True. Okay. All right, we have some metrics coming in. Okay. Just also a reminder that we're going to have to create a dashboard for the server. It's a fast API server. We do have a dashboard for fast API server. We created one a while ago on the dashboards. I just don't think this one is standard from, it's not picking up. So, that's one of the issues with observability when it comes to this lack of standardization. We'll add some, we'll update it once we start updating the project. Langflow will go and change the Prometheus, their metrics names to be able to, to have a standard, at least standard for ourselves. So we'll update that. All right, so that's good. Now, the second thing that I'm filling in, which is filling with right now, is access to the database. This is for dev purposes. So right now the database lives in in this namespace in Kubernetes, right? So locally, if I want to access it, I have to, there's multiple things you have to do. First of all, obviously port forward to this pod, but also I need the TLS certificates. I need to get the credentials as well. So I was just fiddling with the script right now to be able to get that going. Let's just get this, let's clear this. So the script here I'm running here is basically a workflow script where it combines multiple kubectl commands into one workflow where it gets the certificates from me, it gets the passwords for me, and then kicks off, we're going to use pg admin 4 to access Postgres database securely. Now, I did divide the script into two. The reason is because the secret manager is managing the credentials, and we have to ask it to give us credentials, temporary credentials. So that's why I left it empty here. And let's port forward to, that's manager. Do I have a port forward here somewhere? So, usually we don't allow port forwarding to Vault. And also accessing the GUI, the UI, we disable it. It's just, we think from a organization point of view, that's not the best way to, well, Vault should not be public, let's put it this way, simply. So let's access Vault through this port forward here. There you go. So here's Vault running the secret engine. We have the database here, connection, roles. So, and there's a dynamic role here, right? So this dynamic role, we can ask Vault to create temporary credentials for us. And that's the best way of doing it. So these are dynamic credentials. As you can see, we give them a little bit longer time to live just for devs here. So in prod, this would be probably a few minutes. So same here, both of these will be like several, maybe half an hour. So when you're doing production support, you get the credentials, both the user and password dynamically partitioned for you. You use it and it just times out, right? So it reduces that, once you have a window in your credentials, the vector of attack for hackers is much smaller and they're expired fairly quickly, right? So in this case, I can click generate credentials here. So it executed, so Vault executed a script in a database and it gave us credentials. So we can look at these credentials here because, again, they'll be expired. So I'm just going to grab them and test the script. So we don't have to port forward anymore to Vault. We get the credentials. So I have to set the credentials here. So no, not these ones. That's our temporary password, username. A temporary password is going to be, that's my temporary password. All right, let's kick this off. Oh, snap. That's not a good password. You can see there's a, yeah, let's do it again. Let's just create a new password. So password policy that we have, it allows special characters, but you can see these are not the greatest for the terminal use. Yeah, let's connect again. Let me refresh, get a new bunch of credentials here. I should probably update the password policy just for the database, just to be able to avoid any such issues here with, just a mental note. We'll probably create a different, there you go. This one looks a bit better. So we've got a new user. Now, all these users will expire. They'll just take a little bit longer in the dev environment. Oh, cursor, come on. Oh, why you mess with me like that? Oh my God. Jeebus. I just delete this. should probably disable. Yeah, okay. Let's grab the new credentials here. All right, these are much more terminal friendly. All right, so it pull forward it to our pod, and it started the application for us. And where's my application? Just kill the application. Let's start it again. You know, I'm going to change these log outputs, add some color. I like adding color to my terminal so I can see what the bloody hell is happening here, because it's okay. All right, so start. Okay, so PG-admin is started. Now, one thing to notice is that we have the latest version of PG-admin, which doesn't use the JSON files anymore. They use SQLite to manage the credentials locally. For this Postgres database, they use SQLite locally. So what I did here is I generated, kind of old style JSON file here. As you can see, it's just temporary credentials here. So what we can do is we can import this. Let's import this. And I'm just going to grab, I just dumped out this full path for myself, so I can just grab it quickly. Next. Yeah, let's send this to Kubernetes, Postgres. Yep, next. Next, finish. All right. It needs the password again. All right, so let me just save the password here. Actually, not save it. It's still an ephemeral password, so there's no point. There we go. So we're in our Kubernetes Postgres. Locally, we can fiddle with it now. There's tables here. What's going on? Alabama version. We just have a peek at these tables. If you wanted all rows. There we go. Okay, cool. So we can access tables as well. So it's going to help us in the dev. Now I do want to go back and add. Well, let's just let's kill the port forwarding here. I do want to add colors here so I can see what the hell is happening here in the output. So usually what I like to do is, so I use echoes for everything except for output. So I have a log always file here. Now, this is just the standard one I use, which I created a while ago. Okay, vanilla version. But there's another version I have where I have colors. Let's do this. Let's move this to the side. Colors. Sweet. All right. So let me define colors. Did I define them already? I did define it in this one here, right? Should I use this? I think I'll use the same ones here. Let's just throw them here on the top somewhere. Before, yeah, just do it here. It just helps to visualize things. Actually, wait, I have more colors in my other thing. Okay, you know what? Let's grab my other script. Okay, and let's use the same colors in the log script or log function. Where's my log function? Log function. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to create a color. Yeah, color variable here. And then let's, based on the case level, let's, okay. Okay, and let's do a little massaging here. So now when we display this echo, it's going to be with an E, and then I'll just put the color. So yeah. Thank you, cursor. So put the color there. And let's no, let's do it a little bit differently. Let's do this quickly. No, go away. I'm just gonna put the color reset at the end here, since this is already started. So yeah, let's do the colors in just after timestamp here. Yeah. So the level and the message. Should the message? No, let's do the level for now. So yeah, let's see how that looks. Right. So let's use the variable here, color, and do a reset at the end. Color reset. So we have the reset at the top here. There's the reset. Sweet. And here, I'm okay with that. So we choose which color to use, and then we just reset it here. Okay. There we go. So it's looking a little bit better. So there's info here. There you go. And kicked off my my PG admin. Okay, sweet. Now I think we can probably add some. No, I'm not going to change the message. It's just too much of a headache here. You can just see it based on the here the level, log level here. What is? All right, that's good enough. All right, so we're done with this script, and I'll share the script if anyone wants to use it. Now this is not a finished script again because we're injecting or asking for the user to provide the Postgres username and password, which are coming from an external system, and we will also want to automate that process as well. You know what? Let's draw a diagram from this script so we can actually help people understand when they look at the script. So let's do a quick grab this diagram from the bash script. All right. I'm just going to check if I added colors anywhere else. I did add colors to. To usage. Yeah, let me do that quickly too. So these I can see. I like to have these top ones when we kick off. Sorry, not these ones. These top ones here. When we kick things off, we like to have different colors as well. All right. Let me just have. Why do I add this one here? Create credentials. Yeah, let me just delete that. Don't know why I added that. Guess for the Vault script, okay. I just want to just double check everything is good here before I start adding colors here. Just a few places, so make things more legible. So let me move this up to the top so I can use them with the usage first. And here's my graph. Let's get the window on this. Where's my little graph viz diagram window? Actually, before I do anything, I'll throw it in here to our docs, diagrams. Let's get a new one. This is going to be a connection script. Dot file. So here's the potential script. And now let's throw this into a browser. What is this one here? It's network policy I was reviewing. Okay, we can blow this one away. Oh, all right. Let's see how this this is a useful script or not. If not, then we'll create a new one. All right. So start with the script. Yeah. Initialization. Yeah, makes sense. All right. Kubernetes. Yeah. Get the Kubernetes resources. Check the namespace. Check the pod. TLS. Get the TLS stuff. Suite connection. Yeah, port forward, and then once the port forwarding is done to the pod, then we can just kick off pgadmin, okay, and create the well, except for the server import. Yeah, so we're creating the server import here. Okay. All right. So yeah, so that script diagram is solid. So as you can see here, there's quite a few steps that you will have to do each time you want to, connect to that database for debugging purposes, for dev purposes. Again, this isn't a dev cluster. We wouldn't allow this in a prod cluster. At least the script will have to be updated a little more secure. Okay, so that's pretty good. Let's see if that. And it's always nice to capture a process in in a script, because there's a few things you have to do before you port forward to your pod, just like which is your database, to actually access the database within the pod, right? As you can see, especially when you have TLS, and you need specific certificates as well. Yeah. All right. So this is how the script looks. So I'll use this diagram with the script so people can have it. All right, sweet. Let's move this to the side. So let's see if you can generate this script. So make graph. What is the make target that I added? I forget now. Oh, convert diagrams. Okay, make convert. There we go. So we should get the new script here. Yeah. All right, so people can review it, and because it's part of the Git, if any updates happen, I'll ask people to update the script as well, or the dot file, and then regenerate it so they can commit it, and we can see the script in a Bitbucket. So when you go and look at your source code in Bitbucket with a browser, you can see that image. And it kind of gives you an idea of what's happening here. Okay, now before I move on to Langflow, let's make this script a little bit more pretty with the colors. So yeah, let's do that. So let's make this cyan color. Oh boy, cursor not helping today. All right, so pretty much this is what we're going to be doing, and then color reset at the end. So this is how you do things in. So if I do now usage. Oh my God, come on. What's the command? B? Not B. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, it's not, I'm in a test directory, cd test. All right. All right. Right. Uh-huh. Where is my cyan color? Oh, did I mess this up? Yeah, because it's echo E. Damn it. All right, just quickly check before. Yeah, there it goes. So there's yours. All right, let's search this quickly then. So I'll make this one color so people can see the difference. Just little things, little hygiene. All right. And then I'll just grab this little piece here and just dump it here. I feel like Bob Ross. I'm painting mountains. All right. No, I see that in my other script. I like to use green. Yeah, green for the. Yeah, let's use green. All right. I just want to be consistent. So let's use green for this one. So this is green, and for the options, I use bold. Okay. Well, let's see how that looks. There we go. And let's throw a reset in here. You know, I'll do the whole line. I see that I just highlight the different options, but I don't put it on. You know, I'll just be consistent. Okay, if I did it that way, let's just do it this way. All right. It's better to be consistent, always. Even if you're wrong, just be consistently wrong. All right, let me see how that looks. And then this won't be bold, so color bold. All right, I think that's nice. Sweet. All right, so what other things I need to change? Yeah, not much. I think we're good. No, except for this one, obviously. So this is, it's not using the log. This is before the log. Let me put this right after the log. I don't know why I have this. I just use the log for this one. So here. And this one will be log error, like this one. All right. Okay. I'll just connect. I'm good to go. That's a nice helper script we'll be using when we actually start coding this. I'll just close this. All right. In the meantime, I can have a peek at the tables here before we start coding, just to understand what tables do we have here. So the one that we care about for the single sign will be the user table. So we need to update this one here. Let's refresh. Connection has been lost. That's interesting. I'm just gonna disconnect from the server. Disconnect. I'm just gonna delete this. And let's go and import the one we just started. So yeah, I don't like this import stuff. I'm gonna have to make it so it works with SQLite database. So since the credential is stored there in Postgres or the PG admin app. So I'll make this a little bit more fancy later. At least this gets people going. I wants to. Where's my? Where's my password? All right, so this is my temporary password from Vault. It's going to die soon. Not that soon. We have a few days, 2 days for the dev. All right. All right, so we care about the Langflow schema here, database. There's the schemas here, public tables. All right, so it's about to have a peek at the user one before we start looking at the project. Just curious to see what they have here, what columns. All right, so is active, is super user. Okay, so just basically very basic, authorization. Once you get authenticated, either user or super user, not super user. So not the greatest, roles and permissions here. Just basically one variable here is super active. Okay, so in our case, since we're using single sign-on, we don't care about the username. We want to add email here. So, okay. So let's do that. We'll come back to Postgres later once we start dealing with bugs during deployment. And for local deployment here, for the Langflow project, I guess we use wherever it comes with the project. All right. Sweet. All right, let's close this. Yes. And then stop port forwarding. Okay, so I'm going to commit the script. I like the script, and I'll commit the diagram as well so people can see what's happening. Except for this one here, I'm not going to commit this outputs here. I'm just going to add it to ignore. We just dumped that JSON file before we import it. So it's just a place to host the file beneath output. Okay, sweet. All right, commit. Let me see how the image looks in the Bitbucket. So in docs, diagrams, here's a connection script. Okay. All right, people can just review it in source control and try to understand the script. But it's, once you get past the initial complexity, it's fairly simple. We just, do some checks. We grab the certificate, and we port forward to the stateful set pod, and we just kick off the PG admin locally, and that's it. Now this is where we'll probably add, if we can, ability to update the SQLite database that comes with PG admin. So then we don't have to import that JSON file. We'll skip the JSON file. At least it works for now. So we'll start with this. Okay, now moving on. So the next part is to work on Langflow. So we did fork it here. And we did use Cloud Coder to get us going, to kick us off. So let me close this. I don't know what all this stuff is open here. There's the Claude file that Claude created for itself. Okay. So what I like to do usually with these big projects is to understand it before I start diving into it. So we did a similar engagement with LobeChat. So LobeChat, so if you go to LobeChat. Actually, let's just go to the Git LobeChat, GitHub. Right, so LobeChat is a really good LLM wrapper. So you can, here. So it provides the ability. It's like T3 chat, from T3 chat. Was it chat from Theo? He just launched the here. So I don't know why. I guess you want to work on it, but this is T3 chat. So this is just you can just select your model here at the bottom, and then just pay if you want more, and select the model, and basically it's like ChatGPT, except you can choose the model, right? So LoveChat was there way ahead of T3 chat, and actually it's a really good project. It's a Next.js React project. And they had additional functionality here, agents as well. A very basic agents, just single execution. There was no workflow. Anyways, you can see here that it's a fully big project. So we deployed the project. Now, one thing that was missing from this project is single sign-on. As you can see, look, they support pretty much everything out of the box, all these model providers, right? So it's exactly like T3 chat. It's a more mature project, more mature code base, and yeah, there you go. And then it also supports function calling, right? So with the plugin system, so that's another benefit, right? That's what we used it. That was like our initial version of agentic workflows. So yeah, let's look at this video here. Yeah, you can choose a plugin, which then when you type in a command, it executes the plugin into function call, right? So anyways, so we build our own plugins. We deploy on the agent marketplace as well. So we fork that as well. So all the agents come from our marketplace. Yeah, and one thing that was missing here is single sign-on for actually Keycloak. So they had single sign-on for Clerk, and they had Next OAuth. So we just extended this project. So we'll do the same thing for Langflow. Okay. Anyways, check this out. LoveChat is a really good project. I think it's one of the better ones in terms of LLM wrappers. Now, I switched to native apps. For example, I use Poe. Where's Poe here? So here I can choose again many different models here. And it's native. It's a Mac native app. There's other ones I use. For example, LLM Studio. Where's my LLM Studio here? Here, right? So here, there you go. You can just see what I was doing here. A little bit of math. So I was testing math with logistic function here, derivative, just your basic function here. Anyways, so here again, you can choose. There's multiple models you can choose from, right? So there's so many. I think I also have any LLM app install as well, which is another good one. So this one, as another wrapper here, right? So you can choose. If you go to settings, you can again choose different models here as well, and you can query vector database. So here, I even forgot how to use it. So usually I don't use this one because I have so many other ones to choose from. But anyways, these are the LLM providers here. You can configure them. Anyways, moving on. So most of the time I use LLM Studio. So I don't use LoveChat anymore, and also we don't use LoveChat locally as well. Now we still have agents that execute kubectl commands for kind of basic DevOps engineer, right? So with a LoveChat. So it's more than just a wrapper for your LLMs. It also can execute function as well, and so can LLM Studio as well, right? So let me close this, and so can Poe as well, right? So they can also execute your. I forgot even what I was doing here. I have this open, but let me see what the hell. Oh, I was trying to get images for. Right, so you can see. You can. So this is a good example here. It also does image generation as well. And you can just choose multiple, tools here as well to deal with it. Point is that it's better to use tools like this than ChatGPT. You can use ChatGPT through this tool as well. And then if ChatGPT doesn't work, you can just switch models. And so it's nice to have LLM wrapper with lots of choice, right? Same thing as T3 chat here, with their, anyways. So point is that we did something similar already to LoveChat. We extended this project. We added Next OAuth Keycloak integration, which they didn't have. And the goal is to do the same thing to Langflow right now, okay? And actually, let me have a peek at what we did for LoveChat. because I don't recall right now. It's been a few months since we did this, a few months ago. So, oh boy. Well, let me look at my commits. What is this? Right, adding key cloak here. Okay, all right. Where's actually the main file? Right. Okay, so it's an XOAuth. So we did lots of massaging there in the next auth. Let me look at this file. Let's look at this in source. Yeah, we had to massage it a bit. Keycloak has some special requirements here. Okay. So I'm just looking because somebody reused a lot of this code on the front end, not the back end. Obviously, this is the Next.js back end. I'll reuse some of the front end stuff that we did and see. But I might reuse some of this. So we added this one here, the Keycloak TS. So yeah, Keycloak provider and refreshing the token from Keycloak. Right. All right. Just coming back to me. Right. So you're going to do the same thing, but this is going to be in Python since the backend is in Python. So you know what? Let's understand the code base before we jump into it, which we already started doing with Claude here. So Claude, let's see if we can. What can we do here? I'm going to ask Claude to give me a graph-based diagram of this code base just to help me understand it. Okay. Let's see if it does what I'm asking it to. So while this is running, so we do have Langflow deployed, as you can see here. And here is, when you start kick it off, it goes into, the login page, right? So we want to, there's a login page, right? So we don't want to have credentials for Langflow separately. Yeah. We'll have a peek at any connection issues here. But the login page is just something that means that we have to manage credentials, user accounts within Langflow. But we're going to replace this with a single sign-on, so it's managed in one place and Keycloak. And then when we come to this page, I think we'll force forward it to Keycloak login page, and then redirect will come back here. And what's happening here? Let's see if everything is up and running. There we go. All right. So, you know what? Let's just kill the pod for a second here, since we were fiddling with the use passwords for Postgres. Let me get the latest one. And it's a good test if we need to update this as well. So what happens is, again, we have dynamic credentials partitioning from Vault. So if actually, before this disappears, we can see, well, actually not here. Let's just have a look at the secrets here. So the secrets, database Langflow. So this secret here, it's, well, not this one here. We don't care about this one here for now. We care about here. So this one here is created by external secrets. automatically for us, which grabs the credentials from Vault, which change. We keep on rotating, right? So we keep on refreshing the password here and changing. Okay. All right. Let it refresh, and then we'll come back to it. So going back, let's see if it did what I asked it to. Oh, it wants to create PNG out of it. Why not? Yes. It created the file, but it can't find the file now. So where's the file? It put it in the main. What's the name of this file? Langflow. There's the that file. Okay, let's just. Well, it's struggling to. Oh, there we go. It created. All right. Let me throw this into. Grab this here. Oh boy. All right. Well, that's it is a complicated code base. What am I looking at here? Taking a bit of an engineering approach. Let's study the code base bit before we jump into it and start fiddling with it. So what do we have? So there's a front end, there's API layer, we have a service layer, and the Keycloak service. So it picked up the code it added itself. There's database service and there's authentication service. Okay. So it made an assumption. I was asking it for a workflow diagram, a sequence diagram, more precisely, something like a workflow, not really a sequence. But I was really asking about just a breakdown of the different components. So let me maybe ask again. But this is useful. So hold on, let me look at this. There's the React entry point. Oh no, this is the Fast API server here. So that's the backend. We have login, Python, endpoint, users, and there's we adding the Keycloak. All right, so this is good. I'm going to save this. This is for how it thinks we should add Keycloak, which is nice. There's the login page updates. What we have here. This is your callbacks from Keycloak, and there's a hook here as well. Okay, so this is all good stuff. So let me download this. Probably will fiddle with this later, but I'm going to ask Claude for the breakdown of. Oh, yeah. Let's see how this goes. Oh, create another one. What is this one here? Claude's being busy. Oh, it did actually create a nice breakdown for me. All right. With Keycloak integration, okay. Front end APIs. Okay, so this is for all about Keycloak integration. I'm just looking in general. So this is another good file to have. Actually, let me see how this looks. Oh. The formatting is not the greatest. Okay. All right. Just look at it in code. Right. So it's really just looking at the Keycloak stuff that we have to have, which is good. I'll think about it now. So great. I'll use this. And there's not that many places to change this code base. Now, I do want to be able to understand this code base a little bit better. Like we know it has a backend and front end. We know that one is Python, the other one is React. So full architecture, where's this one here? All right, let's grab this one. Yeah, this one's, let's just do another graph. Let's replace this one. Oh boy. All right. So it really went cray here. Okay. Great. Front and back end. And there's the front end. Okay. All right. So let's start with the front end. Actually, it's what we have on the React side. All right. So there's the browser here. Zustand or Zustand. I'm not German. Don't know how to pronounce it. Zustand. I'm sure I get some German guys telling me how to pronounce it. So Zustand store. There's hooks here. So we have the state management here. Nice. There's pages here. It still added the keycloak one here. This is so nice. So, all right. Yeah, it's not a complicated app. I don't know if this, just refresh this. We'll log in a second. So it doesn't seem like a complicated React application. It has just several pages. I mean, all the magic happens in, when you actually start creating the flows. And we have components here. Okay, so that's nice. Okay, that's very straightforward. So yeah, so we would add this keycloak stuff here to pages. Maybe we'll add in the login page. Maybe it's nice to have just a button there, login to keycloak, like we have in Grafana. So because it's nice to have a landing page, right? So maybe what I can do is I'll delete the inputs for the username and password and just replace it with a button. This was going to be our version. So I'll still use the login page, but I'll just have a button to sign with keycloak, which then kicks off and goes to keycloak, right? Goes to our login page. So I think that's a better option here. All right. So now let's look at the backend. The backend seems a little more complicated. Okay, so we have APIs here, RESTful APIs, and we have some components here at the bottom. Okay, vector database stuff, embeddings, and different agent tools. Okay, so we'll come back to the agent tools. We're going to add our own agent tools for DevOps, like observability, talking to Prometheus tools, things like that. CI/CD tools, maybe some cloud tools. So it's nice now. So they're separated here, and we have problem templates and element integration. So different models here. Okay, so that's nice to know. It's component registry. Oh, I like that. I like that having a component registry. It's nice. That's nice modular design in your Python application. But in general, it's nice to have this kind of registry. Doesn't matter if it's Python or not. Okay, what's happening here in the services? So the services is where, this authentication service. Okay, that's one we care about. Okay, nice. Let's go. We already have the keycloak for us. Great. I'm going to save this diagram as well, just for reference. Claude is doing some good job here. What else do we have here? Right. So classic, service architecture here. Okay. And there's the database here, service as well, which this is where we're going to update the user model here. So the user modeling gets, okay. Sweet. So that's a good diagram. Thank you, Claude. All right. So as you can see, it's a bit of a complicated code base. All right. I'm not liking this login page. I'm going to have to debug this in a second and see what's happening here. Actually, I'm just going to have a peek at the, let's look at the logs. Oh, this is still not, okay. So yeah, it's definitely a database issue. Error creating database, right? Right, password authentication, right? So it's trying to use Langflow password authenticate the user. So you know what? I'm just going to log into Vault and see if things got rotated, because we did fiddle with the network policies before. and you know, it was the time for you spent $5 on Anthropic this year. Wow, Anthropic's expensive, dude. Burning through my credits here. Got it. Thanks. All right, let's have a look at Vault quickly here before we continue with Langflow. DevOps never ends, right? It's nice to jump into front and back end dev, but DevOps never ends. So let's do port forward to Vault. Oh, we have to log back in to our Google account. Again, security. Okay. Where is my Vault? Here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is confirm if the other roles are fine. So this is the Langflow role. It's a static role. Get credentials. So their time remaining, so they're about to expire. Well, soon. You know what? Let's rotate them right now. So what I can do is rotate credentials. So right now, the Langflow username doesn't change. That's why it's a static role. Otherwise, it would be dynamic role because the username will be dynamically generated as well. Now, we need to have some static variables there. You know, we don't want to, keep on changing the username because the backend application, the front end will not like it, right? Especially the backend. So let's rotate the credentials here. There we go. There we go. They're rotated. So what's happening upstairs? Okay. So this is so these credentials will be picked up. Actually, I'm just going to look at these credentials. So I'm going to I can have a peek at them. Oh, weird. Okay, yeah. Password policy for databases might have to be adjusted. Remove some of these special characters. Anyways, so this is the password. Again, I don't care showing it right now. First, it's a dev environment. Second of all, it expires. Third of all, you can't get to the cluster. It's a private cluster, so it's fine to share these passwords. It's not a big deal right now. And in fact, I encourage people to hack it because then it will test my security. All right, let's move this to the side. So whenever I rotate credentials, it should kick off a process where the credentials are rotated automatically for us to the external secret manager. And that'll be here. All right, so let me grab this secret and see if it matches the new credentials. Secrets. Yeah, but we want to get this secret here. And we want to get the password here. So this is the DB password. Just want to see if everything is working fine, rotating. So let's just echo this to and pipe it to base 64, decoding. All right, so this is the old password, right? It's not the new password. So you can see where's my Chrome. So this is the new password, right? With the funny dash in front of it. Okay, so that's the old password. So it should take a few minutes. Actually, let's just see how long it takes for the rotation here. So that should be in our security package here. So you always have to have time, refresh times on these passwords. Tell how often to refresh. And you match them up with your other policy. So in Vault, if if you have a policy for refreshing the password, every day, then check the password external secrets every, say 8 hours or something, right? Or maybe 1 hour, whatever it is, right? Just so you want to match it. So the external secrets should be smaller refresh time than the refresh time you have involved. So you always pick it up. In our case, where's the, so the secret here is here. A refresh interval is 0. Why did I put it to 0? What is 0 in external secrets? Just to let's have a look. All right, so looking at the documentation. What do we have here? Has passed in 0. What? Where's the refresh interval? Oh, this search completely sucks. Where is... that's a pretty bad search. Okay. All we want to do is just look up refresh interval. Holy crap. Why is that search so garbage? Let me put it here and do a different search on the API. So looking at the API, where's the variable? Sorry, let's bring it back here. Maybe set to 0 to fetch and create. Okay, so okay. 0 is 1. I don't want to. Okay, so when you set to 0, it sets to 1. No, I want to set to. I'm not going to change this right now, but I want this to be refreshed quite often. Hold on. Where is that the one I was looking for? No, I want. Where's the database password here? Yes, here password. That's for the super user. Where's the password one? Oh, here's the password. So it's every 8 hours. Okay, yeah, I knew. Okay, the other one 0 is fine. Those are credentials from OpenAI and Anthropic, things like that. So we don't want to refresh them all the time. Now this one is every 8 hours. So if I just refreshed it, yeah, we're not going to see a change. So I can force it. There's a few ways of forcing it. Now the quickest way is just to delete the secret, right? Because again, the secret is managed by external secrets. I can just delete it. Let's see what happens. And it came back to life. There we go, right? So the operator there makes sure that we always have a secret. Are there comments coming here? Am I ignoring comments again? Yeah, okay, we can ignore some of these comments. So let's have a look at the password now, if it changed. I'm just going to grab it here. Yeah, so you can see it's different. All right. Let's just decode this one here. Base 60. Oh, Clumsy fat fingers, man. Jeebus. Let's pipe this to base 64, and decode this. All right, so it's the latest password. Okay, so we have the latest password. So the rotation worked. We trigger involved. It propagated through. It wasn't picked up right away by external secrets because, again, the refresh rate is every 8 hours, which is fine because we have, we refresh it every few days for the dev environment. So now that we did this, let's see if workloads. So this one is stuck now. This one is set to refresh itself based on, oh, not the global. Okay, so all right, that's a bug. I want the database secret to be here, not just the global. Okay, I want multiple secrets to be here. So the point here is that once you have this annotation on your stateful set, it refreshes the pods for you automatically when the, okay, so just FYI for myself, just add one more secret here. So this is a comma separated list of secrets that it's looking for it to reload itself, okay? So it's going to delete this. Yeah, it's going to crash loop. All right, delete. Let's see what happens when it comes back. Moving on, so yeah, thank you, Claude. $5 for what? For those graphs? They cost me $5 for those graph-based diagrams. All right, got it. Thanks. All right, so I did ask Claude to kick off this dev for me. So let's see what's happening here. It created a summary for me. So it's using Python Keycloak. So that's let me just double check if there's no hallucination here. If that's the library that actually exists. It's going to go to PyPy. Let's see if we have a lib here. Oh, it does exist. Is it a new one? Yeah, it's been updated recently. Nice. Okay. So picked up the latest Python Keycloak library. And then in this case, have examples too, so we can leverage this code here. Okay. Create user here. I see. Okay. All right. So we can use this code. Going back. What else do we have here? So it added the correct library. It created a makefile to add the library. Created services and created this OAuth here. A backend file. A little bit of GWT tokens and login endpoint. Okay, cool. So that's all the changes we need on the backend. That's nice. And on the front end, we have login page updates, authentication context updates, API, and then the environment variables. Okay, sweet. So we need those environment variables. So we're going to pass them into our stateful set from our Keycloak deployment. And we're going to have to configure Keycloak as well. Okay. So let's have a look at the code before I start digging into this. We can actually look at the difference in Git. Maybe easier to see. Where's my forked project? KPS Langflow? No. I called it. Wait. The hell there? Kubert Langflow. Here, this one here. All right. Let's see what Claude did. All right. So out of the library, nice. That's the one we want. Is that the right version? Okay, we gotta just double check because of hallucination. No, it's 5. Okay. Let's move this to the side. Let's update. I don't know why I use such an old one. PyProject toml file. This is where we'll define our libraries. So I'm just going to go 5 greater than or equal to 531. Just double check the version again. 5.3. Yeah. So that's the latest version. It's nice to see that this project is active. And let's double check the version it supports. So this Langflow supports Python 3.12. And this one says it supports 3.12 as well, and 3.13 as well. So that's nice. Okay. So it's always nice to work with a new library that's been tested on the latest version of Python. And okay, cool. All right, so where else? Let's see where else Claude add for us. Was a busy boy. Alembic. That's the way I say it. Alembic. That one is empty. Don't know what happened here. We have a keycloak migration. So it added. I used what? Adding new column, user, email. Okay, email and is keycloak user. Okay, nice. Then we need that. Okay, so is keycloak user true, and then we have email to use, so we don't have to use a username. All right, so that looks good. And when you downgrade, you drop those 2 columns. Okay, nice. So that's a nice. So this is a schema manager. So schema managers are part of the project. You'll usually have them with part of the backend. So when you make changes in your backend, you can add them to your schema manager and then deploy it with the code base, right? So it's nice to deploy them with your when you build your project with in your container. At the same time, so you don't have to have like separate scripts you have to manage. And this also has an abstraction as well for us. So it's abstract. So it uses SQL Alchemy, as you can see. So we don't have to define the database here. So this is going to work with SQLite or Postgres or MySQL. Yeah, so it's nice abstraction as well. So as you can see, it's using, let's actually go look at that file. So that's in backend, Langflow. Wait, what was it? Base? Yeah, Langflow, Limbic. And we have 2. This one, don't know what, this one doesn't do anything. Batch revisions? Oh. Okay. Let's ignore that one for now. We'll probably delete this one. The keycloak one, yeah, again, SQL Alchemy here. So let's make this a little bigger. Right, so we do want to, these are the changes we want. So these are good changes from Claude. So we need email, and just another variable is, I didn't even think about adding a variable here, but I guess it's nice to have that as well. So we can, I don't know, search for only keycloak users if you want to, I suppose. So that's nice to have, okay. And this schema manager here abstracts everything for us, right? So we don't have to care about the database right now. And let's just have a look at the environment variables here, the configuration. So just trying to learn the code base here quickly, see what's happening. So they do have a Postgres check here for Postgres dialect. So they handle some of these complexities here, abstract them in this file. Okay. And let's look at the IAN file. Where's the IAN file? Where is here? This is when we configure it. Right. Script location, it's in this folder. Okay, cool. Oh, and by default, they use SQLite. We obviously changed that. We changed it with deploy Postgres. So for dev, we'll use SQLite for dev because it's very easy to get going. We need to deploy Postgres for local dev. And yeah, some outputs here. Okay, controlling the logger. Now we know the logger sucks based on local and Docker logs that we had, so we're gonna have to come back and change some of these ones here. So this one was okay, as I recall. It's just the error one was awful. That one needs lots of help. Okay, so that's good. Now, what else do we change here with Claude? API router. Keycloak router. So I added a Keycloak router. Well, where's the router? Keycloak router. Wait, where's the router? Where's the router code? Keycloak. Oh, okay. So it's this file. So it's okay. So Keycloak here is the router. So let's have a look at the router. Base Langflow API v1. So base Langflow API. It's in v1. Okay, so it updated the int file and added the router. Okay, so we have the Keycloak here. And we can go this. Okay. So this is fast API application, and it uses routers to get the request into the right. The requests are mapped to the routers. So we wrap the request here, and there's a bit of a config here. I think we need a little bit more for this config. And here's the route, Keycloak config, the RESTful API endpoint here. So it'll be API slash v1 slash Keycloak slash config. And we can confirm that based on, there should be a root file here somewhere. Right here. So prefix API key slash, okay, so this is the root. Okay. And there's slash API key ID. So yeah, it'll be slash v1 slash Keycloak. Okay. So getting the config here. What? Oh, to push this to services. Okay, so we have to look at the service. Keycloak front URL. We're just going to give a RESTful endpoint here, which is, it is the front URL, ironically speaking. Now, it is deployed within our cluster, so I like to give services here. So for local dev, we use the Keycloak that we have deployed. And for deployment purposes, we'll provide a service, so it doesn't leave the cluster. We don't want, since we're in the cluster, I mean, the DNS resolution will work with Kubernetes service. You need to provide full public URL in here. And in fact, we'll probably go and block that URL from being accessed except for local dev. We'll fiddle with that. All right, callback here. It looks fairly standard. I see the Keycloak service not used. Don't know what happened here, Claude. And that's refresh token. Okay, so standard stuff, but we have to tweak all the stuff. Like it doesn't look correct. It looks like somebody that thinks they know Keycloak did it, but it really is not correct. Okay, and then the router here. What did they do here? Oh, just added the route. Okay, so there you go. So they added a route for Keycloak. Okay. All right. And the last thing is service. So a lot of stuff happened here. Let's look at the settings here. All right. So the settings got updated with all these variables. Do we need all of them? No, the most important thing is really the URL. Well, enable, sure. We're going to keep enable. So we'll put this in a Helm chart. We'll update Helm chart. We'll add this, and we're going to have enable Keycloak true false, and then we're going to add these to the Helm chart. We really care about the server URL, which we're going to get from the Terraform output. Realm, we're going to use standard realm that we have for ops. So this is going to be part of our ops realm. Again, we're going to get this from Terraform output, client ID, client secret. This we're going to get from Vault. And from the URL, I don't care about the front URL. I just really need the silver URL. That's all. So there's no need for two of those, because we're going to use it as the root of all the URLs, and then just add RESTful API at the end if we need for a first token or grabbing a token. Keycloak, how to create users. Nope, that's going to be false always. We don't want to create users from this application. So actually, this is going to be gone completely. Don't even have that. And this is gone as well. Yeah, we'll use that. The server URL. Would automatically create user roles. Okay, no. We don't want anything to be created from Langflow, only in Keycloak. So this is gone as what? Are these comments? Hold on a second. I'll bring this back because these comments are a little bit backwards here. Yeah, so yeah, all that stuff is gone. Okay. All right, so that's gone. That's good attempt, Claude, but no. Password. What we need password context here. What is this for? And there's a model config here. Okay. Oh, this is for the secret store here. Okay. So that's going to be store. Okay, so that's good. All right. So really, we're just adding these variables here to base settings. So they use Pydantic here, as I recall. Yeah. So this will give us ability to pull this from environment variables. So, and then it automatically picks up those environment variables and overrides these values here. And there's a hierarchy how it gets it, either from .env file or variables. The variables override .env file, as I recall, based on the hierarchy. All right, so we're good here. Do I need to change these? So this is the first thing we'll probably do. So what is this? Optional. What's happening here? Is optional included? Yes. So I'm not going to fiddle with the structure of this code. I'm just going to keep it as they have it here. We're here just as guests. We just want to add stuff. I'm not going to be rewriting a lot of stuff. I'll probably do that in another project where maybe kick off another project where we show how to improve some of these things, how to deal with, how to optimize the code base, or let's create a template, a standard template. Nice, that's fine. So this is the only file we're going to keep so far. Okay. Should we put validation here? Yeah, let's add validation just to make sure that if Keycloak is enabled, we do have some of these variables good to go. So it's optional right now, but if it's set to true, I don't want this to be optional. I want this to be, so we do this with validation, okay? So we're going to validate, let's write a validator here somewhere quickly. Actually, you know what? Let's see if Claude will do it for us, just since we're still connected. Let me just grab this. All right, let's see if it updates it. In the meantime, let's have a look at the service, because that's where a lot of stuff happens here. Okay. Whoa, where is it going crazy? What's happening here? How many files are you changing? I just asked you to do one thing. Whoa, easy there, champ. All right, let's see what code it did in a second. Anyways, so let's review the keycloak service here. It created for us. Yeah, so you can see this one will require some loving here, some changes here. Yeah, check if keycloak is enabled. Check if it has all the variables. Client secret is the most important one. What's happening here? Token verification. Oh boy. This part we're going to skip. Let's see what Claude did. Oh, I wrote a validator. Let's see how it looks. Let's make this a bit smaller. Where's the validator? Oh, so I added two validators. Nice. Client secret. Nice. So yeah, once it's enabled, and then what? And none of that. Okay, I see. And for this one here is same thing, enabled. If it's enabled and not a valid, then okay. So we need both when keycloaks. Okay, that makes sense. We probably should do it for all these variables, but these are the main ones. Yeah, we need to have a secret there. And these two are dynamic as well. They'll be injected via Terraform outputs, right, into Helm chart. So, it's easy. There's potential for them to the mistake or missing or something. The other ones are a little bit more static variables. Anyways, we'll probably come back and do a little bit more stuff here. So let's look at the back at the service. Where's the service here? Service. So this is the main workhorse of the updates. So the init is fine, except for this part. Not liking this part here. We're gonna probably remove the public key stuff. Clients. What's happening here? All right. Okay. Is enabled. Sure. Check if it's enabled. We can use that in other places. Maybe in the router. Get token. This is the main one we really care about, and refresh token. So refresh token is something that we want to have. There's obviously issues with refresh token. We have to fiddle with that a bit, but the main one's get token. Get the main access token. Client token. What is the client here? Where's the client defined? Client here. Right, so the client is here. Okay, so let's look at the client, because I really need to know what here. There's the client here. Okay. So this is our service or client that will talk to our single sign-on service, Kubernetes service. So I want to actually double check these variables in the package. This is just all kind of stuff. We're just looking up stuff right now, just doing a little bit of research before start coding and deploying stuff. So let's go to, where's the homepage for this thing? Here, let's go to issues. So we need to look at the open ID class from keycloak here. And let's see if there's any hallucinations from Claude. Let's go to master, or the version we says 5.3.1. What's happening? What can we select this? Is this a bug in yeah, it's a bug in GitHub. They don't test on Safari? Come on, boys, you can test on Safari. Some of us use Safari and Chrome at the same time, and several other browsers. And Firefox, even though they changed those privacy rules now, probably shouldn't use Firefox anymore, especially in a company. But I'll leave that to you. All right, so we have the correct variables here. Let's double check the variables. Right, server URL, client ID, realm name, client secret, and what else do we need? That's it. Enable disable certificates, right? So we can disable certificates. Is what's the default one? Is there a default value here? Here, verify is true. I'm gonna have to see what that does. Okay, so we have the top stuff. That's what we care about really for the connection, and that's all going to be provided via Terraform into the Helm chart, the Helm release. Verify true, custom headers no, proxy no, timeout don't care, certificates don't care right now. So let's just check verify. What does verify do? Where's verify? Verify. Where's verify? What's in the connection manager? Okay, so let's go to connection manager. Connection manager here. And we have verify here. So what is verify? All I'm saying is just being set, but what's the purpose of it? Come on. Do I need to pull this code base? I don't want to. Where's verify? Oh, wait, I think I saw an async client there. Here, verify. Okay, so it's on the async client. So this is when we pass certificates as well. We're not passing certificates. Right, so we're not passing certificates, and we're also don't want to verify. We also don't have a proxy, so okay. I'm gonna leave it at, actually, let's look this up. Let's go to async client, where is it? Just go straight to the docs. Here. Use SSO context with default C bundle false to disable verification. For instance, SSO context. Okay. So we don't have custom certificates set up on Keycloak. At least we're not going to have for this client. So we haven't defined the client yet. So we'll start with false. Wait, false to disable verification, or instance. Right. So we'll set this to false. Hold on. Should we set this to false? Like, I always like to verify certificates, but we want to use custom certificates with Keycloak. But then we have to provide that bundle into that container, or at least a way to look up some of these things in the handshake. So we'll start with false just to get it going and see if the whole workflow works. If you can log in, authenticate the user, and maybe do some authorization as well. And then if that works, we'll come back and set this to true and start adding other own certificate just to make it a little more secure. Okay, so false is, and so going back to the code base. All right, so this is the most important part of the whole thing, because actually this is where we create the client. Verify. It's not coming up. It's coming up. Come on. Verify equals to false. All right, so that's that. So I'm okay with it, except for this thing here, the public keys for token verification. Nope, that's going to be gone for now. All right, and we'll probably change some of these exceptions in a second too. All right, so first pass, it's looking okay. To get token, I'm gonna have to deal with this somehow. So authorization code, no, the grant type here, we're gonna change the grant type. The user info, do we need to get the user info? Yeah, we do. Actually, let's see if our deployment is happy after database or password rotation. All right, let's see if we can log in. All right, so again, so we have an admin page. So there's super user. So we're looking at a super user right now. And the information here, the user info here is very minimal. Like it doesn't tell me who I am, who I is. Maybe in the settings. Oh, there's a profile picture here. Profile picture, and that's, is there? Okay, so there isn't much here in terms of information, user information. All right, so we will not provide much, except, is there, let me go to the admin page. So the users just have a username that's set, nothing else? All right, we have to also update this table here to have key cloak, yes, no, so we can see which, but then, actually, we're not going to display the users here. No, key cloak users will not show up in here, unless we have to replicate them here based on some weird, I don't know, things that we find. All right, so user info is going to be very basic. Actually, let's just have a peek at the, that's too complicated. Let's just go back, look at a simple agent, test agent here. Let's see if it's all good. So that's a basic graph that we have here. Test graph. It uses OpenAI. You can use multiple tools here, URL, calculator, chat, and there we go. It compiled. So let's do a playground. Oh, see, I tested here already with the URL one. So let's go and do a quick test here. Let's grab this website. This is just a quick test of the agentic system here. So tell me about HTTPX from this site. Okay. So this is a very basic workflow, agentic workflow. It just fetches the website from the URL and summarizes it. Oh, there we go. That's pretty cool. HTTPX overview. Yeah, it's an next-gen client. Sweet. There we go. So you can see it's really nice. Now, if I do the same thing with Prometheus, for example, then we have a DevOps engineer, right? Because I can tell it to query Prometheus, look at the observability data, look at the metrics on these containers. Is the CPU too high, utilization too high? Give it feedback, and then also tell it to, if it is, just go and do something, right? So we can create a nice, lovely graph here, like the one we have here for our deep research, right? Anyway, so we'll get back to this. So going back to code base. All right, so get user info, not that much. We don't really care for it that much. Getting from the access token, because there isn't place really to use it. Introspect token, we'll probably delete that. Decode token, yeah. So we need this. So for decode token, public key. No, let me see. Is the public here for decoding the token only? Verify signature. So I'm going to remove that. We'll have a PCAP decode token. So the reason we want to decode the token, because the access token, once you get the access token from the first one here from get token, then we can decode the token and then pull out the roles from the token, right? So in this case, the super user role. So we're going to create client roles on the Keycloak client that we create for Langflow, and those roles will be then assigned to employees in our organization. And then we see extract roles. So realm, no, it's not realms. We want just client roles, right? So realm access. So this is gone. We don't want to have realm roles here. And then this is gone as well. We just want to check the client roles. Okay. Sweet. Extend. No, I don't want to combine those two. So we just need roles here. Client roles. That's something we were going to return. Okay. We'll make this pretty in a second once we start coding for reals. Okay. Let's see where else. Claude changed. Claude did some good work, man. Damn. What is this? Oh, is that a dependency for Keycloak service to be able to add it to the routes? Okay. So Fast API also supports dependency injection. So we can inject services here. Okay. What is this? Schema update. Service schema. Let's look at that. Okay, first of all, there's the dependencies. Sure. The other at the end. I'm not mad at you, Claude. I'm not mad. Just remove some of these empty spaces. Okay. Schema. Keycloak service. Okay. So we can get the service by name. Sweet. All good stuff from Claude. All right, now let's have a look at the database section. So this is where we're going to be updating the database schema. So we need to prepare a script for this. So schema, where is database? Here. Database models. User model. So using here SQL Alchemy and Pydantic integration here, just kind of standard Python backend stuff. You can see this user extends the SQL model class here. And where's so there's the Keycloak user here. Okay, so we added these two things. So email, so sweet. So this goes with our script updates as well. That'll be deployed. Now for the script updates, I do want to delete the one that just came up. Where's the updates here? I'll be here. So we have multiple updates here. Now what is this one here for again? Oh, this is just revisions. Why would it do revisions? So I don't understand why it created this one. Like I like this Keycloak migration script, and did it merge? Did I do a merge on the schema manager? Is that what happened here? Down revision. Right. Why would they do this? I'll have to see what happened here. But there's a merge that happened between the current revision and the one that's coming up, and there's a new revision ID. Okay. I'm gonna leave this for a second since I don't understand why I added this one here. I'll look at the report, see maybe it said in the report why I added there. But this Keycloak migration one I do like, so that one I'm going to keep, and it does match the user email, and it is Keycloak with the model. Yep. No, okay, sweet. So these are the Keycloak fields. So that's good. That's a good change. We're going to keep that change. No more required here. All right. It did add some utilities here. Don't know what the utilities are. Let's have a peek. So add the Keycloak factory, Keycloak service, Keycloak utilities, and Keycloak. Oh, okay. So these are all on the Keycloak service. Right. Keycloak package. Okay. So the factory here. All right. So this is what the service is. Okay. Cool. You also leave one last line up there at the end. These utilities here. What's happening with these utilities? Some of the stuff is not used. Depends is not used. Dictionary, which, so they're using the future annotations here. Okay. So depends, delete. They don't use depends. Where else it's here? Get session, get DB service. Don't know why it's added, but it's not used. So let's remove this. And tuple and list is also not used. Okay. So let's see what Claude was thinking here. Process Keycloak login. Get the service. Get the settings. Get the OAuth settings. Get the token. Sure. Check if the token exists or there's an authentication issue. Get the access token. Yep. So that's good. Decode the token, and then, all right, so this is actually good stuff. All the stuff we need. Preferred username or email. We're just going to use email here. So we actually do both. Preferred username is email. Just going to use email here. So get the email. So username is email and email is email, okay? So the username is just to make the Postgres schema happy right now because username is required, but for login into Keycloak company account, you need the email. We don't care about the username. There's a little bit of validation here. Getting the roles, extract roles, sure. Is admin. Oh, that's the admin role. Okay, so we do want to provide the admin role. So let's just go back in here and have a look at this. So right now it's admin. I'm going to call it something like Kubert dash Langflow admin, just as a default. I'll provide a better one. Anyway, so we'll add this as well, part of our configuration. So we're going to have, we'll define a keycloak role, client role, and we expose with Terraform outputs. Okay. So that's good stuff. So then we know it's an admin, and okay, now check if the existing, we don't need to, hold on a second, check the username. We don't want to, so this is where the recipe might fall apart. So the assumption here is that the user exists only in Keycloak database or whatever. It's coming through Keycloak. Keycloak can be a broker to your Gmail or a Facebook account, whatever account you're using. But here, once we have the username, we check if the user exists within the database. Now, we don't want to do that. So this just does a simple select on the database and then returns the first one. Okay. And I'm assuming the user is also used as some sort of a foreign key to some other tables here. Let's have a look at the, let's have a look at the database models. Where's the database models? Here. So something like a flow. Let's see if it has a user ID. Name, description, icon, gradient. Where is the foreign key to updated add? So that's the time. It's not a user. Oh, that's the user ID, right? So there's a foreign key to the user ID. Okay. So this is where things might get complicated. So we can create a user automatically within Langflow database once we log in. The problem is not maintaining that user, right? So if we delete the user from a single sign-on, they will still exist in Postgres database. So there's trade-offs here. Trade-offs. If we don't create the user in the user table, we have to find a way to deal with these foreign keys. Because when you create the flow or create any other stuff or assets, let's see, messages. Messages should also probably have user ID here, because when you create a message is for a user, by a user. So where is the fields? Oh, has a flow ID. Okay, so that's the child here, or the parent in this case. The flow ID, the message belongs to a flow. And the flow belongs to a user. So that's a bit of a problem here. Yeah, this whole idea of starting simply doesn't make sense, because if we start too simply, well, we're going to have lots of time and difficulty managing those users over time. You know what, let's have a look at the flow model and what's actually used. Right, listing flows, then where you're limiting by user ID. So you only see own flows, you don't see any bias flows. So we will have to change this to come from the GWT token. because we can get the Keycloak ID, Keycloak user ID, which is UUID. It's unique within Keycloak, and should also be unique within here. Where is this UUID coming from? It's coming from user ID. Let me find this method here and see how it's used, just to get an insight how they actually use the users in this application. Right. So they grab flows here, list of flows, and they pass the user ID, and the user ID is defined here. And how is this set? Where's this user ID coming from? Obviously, it should come from the database, but it makes a difference how it's actually getting here. Okay, so it's getting it from the current user, meaning what? The user in the session. If it's the user in the session, then we can still work with this. We'll just have, well, it's going to break the database foreign key constraint, or we can maybe relax that a bit, remove that foreign key constraint, just so that those foreign user IDs come from Keycloak database, which is somewhere else. So they check if the user is a string or if the user is instance of UID. Now, when is it instance of UID? Because that would work with us if it's coming from GWT token. So I like this part. So I'm going to see where it's actually being used, because maybe we can use the GWT token or GWT token or JWT token to pull out the UID that's coming from Keycloak, and we don't have to have it in a database. So let's have a look. Load field, okay. Looks like this is not friendly to SSO. Where are these parameters coming from? Let's ask Claude, since it knows the code base. I don't have to search through it. So let's see if it's possible. Right. So these language models are really helpful in understanding the code base, large code bases. It takes a while before you can catch everything that's happening in this code base in your brain and start understanding it and tweaking and changing it. So maybe we can, reduce that time by using a language model that knows about the code base. It's synced all the files, and we can ask it questions. Well, let's see if it's modifying already. I'll ask it just to see if it's possible, but it's modifying it. Let's see. It has keycloak ID. Okay. So I added the keycloak ID. And what is this? CRUD. So it changed the CRUD operations on the user table. Okay. But it still doesn't fix the issue when it comes to retrieving the users. So it is changing. It is changing its the keycloak services added, but I needed to change the current code base. So there's the user, there's the utility. So I might ask it to change the flows as an example. Creating user without keycloak. Okay. It is changing a lot of code, which is good, but I'm gonna have to figure this out as I go along as well. So these are just updates to the keycloak stuff, right? What about the code that uses users right now? This authentication stuff, sure, okay. Creating, okay, let's see what it did. All right, so added keycloak ID to the user model. Okay, sure. We really don't need it there, but let's leave it for now. Lookup strategy is by keycloak ID. We don't need it as well because we need to care about looking up users. Enhance the token creation. Okay, don't care. App the user management. Okay, so this is where we need to. Okay, so I'm gonna ask about flows, for example. So when we pull flows, so going back to these are flows here. Okay. So you see, this is a flow here. You see in the URL, this is the workflow. So it was created by me, so it belongs to me. Who's asking the question? Yeah, it is connected to our Kubernetes environment. Whoever's asking the question. Yeah, we can read the logs and metrics, and we are doing that with Prometheus, Scraper, Pod Monitor is scraping the metrics from the backend pod, and this is fully deployed in our Kubernetes environment without SSO. So it's a full Langflow deployment, which I'm in right now here, with production ready. It just doesn't have a single sign-up. Yeah. If I'm understanding the question correctly. Okay. So going back to our code base, so Claude is getting fancy and it did update. It added keycloak ID, which is really not something we care about. We just want to find a way to deal with the user ID when we query the database to get specific assets that are for specific user, and I want that to be updated. Let's see if it's possible. So flows, for example, this is the one we really care about. So you can see, get a list of flows, go get into your flow, your workflow, and here you go. So this is, see, there's a user ID right there. So I'm gonna ask Claude, and there's the user ID. So if we can, I don't want to make all these changes, too many changes right now. I mean, adding keycloak is already big enough, but then changing it to you not to use the user ID is another change. So I would like to know, first of all, since then read all the files here, if this user ID can come from the GWT token, because it should, because when you log in, you should get a token within your browser. So actually, let's review that, man. Let's just have a peek at the browser here. So let's just inspect it. Let's see. This should be hopefully encrypted, but if it's not, if it's just plain JSON, let's just have a look at this. So it would be in network. I'm just going to go back and grab some here. So there we go. So this is get all the flows, right? Select all the flows by user ID. So which one is it here? Is this the one? Yeah, let me look at the headers here. So this one is, I'll just gain that one flow. Transaction folders. I'm looking for the, oh, there we go. So there you go. So there's two items on the screen, right? So 2, 1, 2. So here, see if we can make this bigger. So what do we have here? We have the ID of this flow, the name, the folder where it exists. Is it a component or not? And that's it. So the token would have to have additional information for the, and there's the token right here. Let's look at this in source. Where's the, can I just grab this? Let me just grab this. I'm gonna grab this bearer token here. I'm gonna assume it's the JWT token. Let's see if I can just dump it here and decode it. Did it work? Invalid signature. Yeah, I don't care about the signature if it's invalid. Payload data, there's not much here. Type access. I was hoping to see a user ID in here. Unless this is the user ID. You know what? Let's actually log into our database. Use the script we just created, which took some time in the morning between meetings to do. So why not just use it? And I want to see if I can see the user table and just have a peek at it, just to understand it. Right. We have to log into our account again. So we're just trying to minimize, the blast radius here. If we don't have to change, the user stuff much, then that's great. If you can just use it the way it is, and if it accepts the keycloak user ID, and then there's no assumption that there's no assumption that you have to have a entry in the user table. All right, so let's go back to our script that we created. So we can look at the database. I'm going to try to use the same username and password for the database, the temporary one, since it still hasn't timed out. It still should be valid. And let me grab the password. Where's the password? So these are dynamic temporary credentials that are partitioned by Vault, so we don't have to care about them. Oh, I'm dealing with credentials. And did they time out already? But okay, let me grab new ones. Actually, is this for the same database? Let me just double check, because sorry, for the same database user. Hold on, where is it? Just to double check, because we still haven't done the updates here. No, it's okay. What's wrong? It's the same. Oh, it's coming from temporary password. Okay. All right, let's import it again. So that's something probably we can fix in our script later. So I'm just going to remove the server, delete, and just import it again. So again, this is the old functionality right now. Oh, the crap. We want to get it from KPS Langflow, and it's in the outputs directory. This is where we generated this JSON file. There we go. So again, security. It's nice to have things that kind of ephemeral, but they're a pain in the ass to reuse, obviously, because they're ephemeral. So looking at the schema here, what I'm interested in is looking at the table right now, and the users table and the flows table, to look at that relationship between users and flows and messages. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dump this on the screen quickly. Where's view? View, show me all the rows. All right. It's nice to see the password's encrypted. That's always encouraging. There's profile image here and store API key, right? So the API key is to look into the store, Langflow store, where you can actually get additional AI agent workflows. It's in beta right now, but maybe we'll publish our own DevOps workflows there in the future. All right, so we have the UUID here. So that's the primary key. So I think that's what this is all about. So the primary key is the UUID. So now let's have a look at the other table, which is flows. Oh, just do it here. All right, so these are the flows. Ooh, what the hell did the flows is in one column? Oh, this is a JSON object. Okay, so they dumped the whole JSON object here. This is when people abuse Postgres database. Holy crap. I wasn't expecting this to be such a big payload. Okay. Well, that's different. Wow, okay. Looks like they just dumped the JSON object there. So maybe MongoDB would be better to use. Just FYI. Maybe Elasticsearch. Maybe another search or document database would be better to use than Postgres or SQLite. Just saying. What the hell? Okay, I'm looking at the columns here. Let's just have a look at the columns in the flow. All right, so I'm just going to grab the user ID. All right, going back, let's grab the user ID. Okay, so we have some flows with no user and some flows with user ID. And let's do a join. Let's join this to, it's called, inner join. Let's call this F to public. Do I have to say public? Do I have to give a schema? Fine, let's just be public that user table. Let's call this u on f dot user ID equals to. I'm assuming it's the same underscore user ID. Just see if this works. It's not joining, it's join. Fine. I'll play you a game. Is it user or users? Hold on, let me see. Which table is it? It is user, and the column is it just ID? I think it's just ID. Yeah, it's ID. It's not user ID, it's ID. All right, so user ID, just going to ID. All right, and then let's just dump everything from that. I'll just put username. Okay. I see. Right. So we do have a constraint here. So I think we're going to have to just do it where we create users in Langflow, and then we need to have a cleanup script or some sort of cleanup process to delete users. If you delete them, or maybe, you know what, let's just use a smart key. Let's add a disable, enable. So we can disable users in Keycloak. Now, from user management point of view, when you disable a user, it's inactive, it's fine, so you have those flags, but sometimes the user needs to be deleted. We can do a soft delete. And the same thing here, we can add soft deletes to user tables, so that makes it easier for us to manage it. Okay, so that's what we'll do. So we'll create user. So we'll grab all the information from the Keycloak login, the user information, and then we'll create a user record, and the user record is going to have self-delete. So let's do that. You know what, let's ask Claude to audit for us. And then probably the last thing we'll do before we go and have a break, because the sugar is running low. Very low. Okay. So I'm glad we did the script. I'll post the script. We're trying to create a portal where I'll share the Helm chart, and I'll share the portal already exists. It's just I don't have it set up yet with all the information. And I'll share the scripts here. It took a while to write the scripts. You can take the script and customize it. So it took like an hour to write it. So I just used it. It's very useful, as you can see. And there's other scripts we have there for testing. So as we're adding scripts here to this project, I'll share it, and I'll share the Helm chart as well, because the Helm chart is a beast, right? So Helm chart is huge. Yeah, tremendous, the best Helm chart ever. So I'll share this repo with you guys as well. And I just need to delete some of the stuff. I'll clean it up, so then you can get it from here. We're not going to publish this in Artifact repository or Artifact, Artifact Hub, where we host Helm charts. We'll just post it on like, see if people want to use it or not. It's up to them. I'm not going to promote it much. Anyways, let's ask Claude to do a self-delete for me. So where's Claude here? So I'm going to ask him to remove this ID, Keycloak ID, because what the hell is the point of it, right? There's no point of having Keycloak ID. So now, it might be nice to have it, because it's something that is a primary key. and we can verify it with the username. But in this case, we really don't care about it, right? So while it's nice to have, it will just create problems maintaining it. So let's just get rid of it. So you know what? I'm gonna ask Claude to, you know what, Claude Buddy Boy. Let's see what Mr. Claude did here. Where's actually grabbing the ID? The ID is pulled from the token. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Sorry, Claude. Okay. You know what? Let's remove the key cloak ID. It was a mistake. Instead, we're going to add a soft delete. Key cloak, or just soft delete in general. It doesn't have to be key cloak. So let's add a soft delete to the user table. Now, you always, like, user table is one of those things where it's nice to have a soft delete because, you know, there's so many assets that are tied to a user. So deleting it means deleting all these different assets. So cleanup is a bit of a pain, but it's nice to just to disable the user or, you know, delete it. And you know what? We do have multiple properties in KeyCloak, like active. IsActive is already here, right? So IsActive is already part of the database model, user model. So where's the user model here? Here. So we have username, password, email, KeyCloak profile. IsActive. So we already have IsActive. So we'll populate the IsActive as well from KeyCloak and self delete as well. So we're just gonna add self delete, okay? So we have a question about the golden paths. So golden paths, if you don't know, are just opinionated workflows that are based on, you know, experience. In this case, we're talking about golden paths for DevOps. So these are processes that we kind of define over time, and we call them the golden paths because we making them standard. They're based on our experience, and we really codifying them with the flows. So these flows here they'll be golden paths. So DevOps golden paths. So we'll define DevOps workflows here. And one thing that's required is integration with tools, right? DevOps tools, right? So you can see on the left here, we have all these different tools here. We don't have necessarily any DevOps tools. So we're going to add DevOps tools here, and we're going to create our own workflows here. And these will be based on golden paths, right? So, you know, the workflows we do day to day as humans, we're going to bake them into AI DevOps. And the AI DevOps engineer can follow these paths. And the reason we're calling it golden paths because we fine tune them and refine them over the years. They're very opinionated. They follow very specific, pattern, very specific graphs, very specific paths, and we want to keep them because they work. And then we'll just codify them as workflows here, as graphs. Okay, let's see what Claude is doing. Oh, Claude is finished. Okay, so Claude went all fancy on me. Okay, let's see what happened here. Oh, what happened there? It was changing the model while I was in it. Let's see if it did change. Oh, I got added the self delete. Okay. All right. Nice. Yeah, we should have a date. I wasn't even thinking about that. So yeah, we're gonna have a self delete here. So once we log in with Keycloak, we're good. We're good to go. We'll update everything else here. We'll create the user, and then once we decide that the user is no longer whatever the employee leaves or something, we'll just delete it or self delete it in Keycloak, and then we're going to self delete it here. Okay, sweet. All right, that's nice. All right. Let's close this as well. Don't save. Okay, looks like we have a basic implementation. Let me see what else Claude did for us besides changing the user model. First login, simplify flow. Okay, so first login is supposed to go and create the user for us. So that should be done in the service or create user tokens. Where is it? Token, create user tokens here. Where's create user? All right, so we're doing create user and utilities. So here, let's just look at the create user here quickly. So here's the login process. And we said first time when you log in, only the first time, create the user and the Langflow database. So let's see. So we're getting more information. We don't have given, all that stuff doesn't need to be there. Okay, chose to use the username based on first and last name. Okay, good try. Okay, I'm going to change this to otherwise use UID. Okay, you know what? This is email, so I'm just going to go like this here. So sorry, Claude buddy, but we don't need the first and last name. And here, preferred username. Maybe like this, just email. Okay, only cares about getting the email. We can probably add more information later, but right now, just email. And if the username is, no, that's it. It has to be email. Okay. Okay, now where's the create user? So if it doesn't find it first time, okay, it will do a user update. What's happening here? User update not defined. We'll see why it's not defined in a second. So it's deleted. So it checks the self delete. Okay, nice. Restoring self delete now. So if the user exists and it's self delete now, I wanted to. Where's the create user? Create here. Create Keycloak user here. So this is. What is this? Oh, it's nice to have a variable here. Wow, thanks, Claude. That is also nice. So we'll force this to true. So create users when you by default, okay, and then create users here. Keycloak here. This is the one I care about really. All right, sweet. So we create a brand new user. All right, we're good. Okay, so let me have a peek at the front end quickly before I end here, because next time we'll come back, we're just going to start recoding some of these things. So pages, login page. First of all, login page has to change, right? So login page for Langflow, login page. What we have here? Where's the change here. So if keycloak is enabled and it's not loading, we are adding, what is this? Separator, a button here. So, okay, cool. I want this button. Okay, now the question is, should we also have the log? I'm gonna leave the login here just in case we need to log in with the super user we created. So I'll leave it the way it is. So actually, that's all the changes I need. I'm gonna run this locally in a second, see how it looks, so I can adjust the CSS. That is good. That is yeah. And then where's this going? This is going to redirect to keycloak login. Let me see what's there. Yeah, let's just go there. So this is, where is this coming from? Use keycloak auth, and that is defined where? Oh, this defines a hook. Okay. React query. No, we're not using React query. Enable realm URL client ID and redirect URL. Okay, so we need, what else do we need here? We don't need any of that stuff. We just need to have, we just hit the endpoint for a RESTful API that we can run the backend. So why do we need realm and URL and client ID? We don't. So we just need to redirect. So that is not required. Just to redirect URI, since everything's going to be set up on the backend, we're going to inject all these values in the backend, and the front end is just a way to call the backend RESTful API. So in this hook here definition, we have what config state here. Sure, just both of these things. In the use effect here, what do we have here? Yeah, so hit the backend. The backend is going to come back with the data here. Where else do we have? Get URL from. So that is, don't care much for that. We just need to have, okay, so this is what we care about here. And again, we don't need to have it here. We'll push this to the back end, so then we hide the details here from the front end. The front end just wants to hit a RESTful endpoint, and that should be dealt there. So, okay. So I can see the changes here that we need to make. So we make this as simple as possible. So all these details here that we're exposing here, they don't need to be here. We just need to come back to define the redirect page. So once we log in and we have that cookie, so we just have to see if the cookie exists in our application, the bearer token that we had here. So, and then once we have the bearer token, we just come to my project. So we're just going to come back here. So that's going to be our under folders. No, all folders. Yeah, I guess we'll come back here. So let me just see what is the default page. Yeah, okay. So that's the default page under flows. Okay, so we'll just provide /flows as the redirect. So when you come back from the login page, just comes back here. And because the cookie is there, so if we're going to look at the cookies, we should already have the access token here. Let's grab this access token. So this is going to be created by keycloak. I'm just going to grab this quickly. As long as the token is there, you can go to a different page, and you should be good too. That's all they have in this. Invalid signature. Okay. It's probably the signature issue, but that doesn't mean that much data in here. All right, so our goal is pretty much create a new token and just put in a cookie, and that's it. So the login page has to be extremely simple then. Just a button. The button goes to Langflow page. Sorry, it goes to our sign-in page. Once we go log in with Google or credentials here, we go back to the flows page, and we check if the cookie's there. So really just the cookie one has to be updated. What do we do with the cookie? Where's the cookie stuff? The cookie, yeah, let's have a peek at that. That's the last thing. So let's see if Claude did my cookie thing here. Where is... Here, storage. I want to see a cookie. Where is the cookie? Let's see what else was updated here. So the routes have been updated. Sure. Where's the routes update? Going to Keycloak. Cool. I need to just find a cookie place because I'm being hungry for cookies. Where are my cookies? Is everything in the off here? Let me see. Cookies, cookie. Where are you? Okay. I see. So we'll just change it here. So this is where we have the state management here. And here is the access token here that we have. All right. So we'll just update it here. So we'll just make sure that what we can do is we can package an access token within the access token. And that's what we did from the other place. So once you, let me look at this login page here. Login, context here. Okay, so there's the cookies here. Okay, so the access token goes into the cookie, and that's Langflow. So if I go back here, here's the access token _LF. So what we can do here is package the Keycloak access token within the Langflow access token. So then we don't have to change much. We're just going to add one more property here to this token. And that means that there's less changes. And we can also then detect if the access token has Keycloak and then pull the, and decode the main token and then decode the token within the main token to get the roles, right? So that can happen in a service. Same with the refresh token here. So that's a little more complicated. The refresh token will have to trigger Keycloak refresh token. So there are two separate tokens here. I don't want to kind of combine them into one because that would require more changes. So we're just going to make the Keycloak token as a field in their Langflow access token. Okay, it's going to be a field that will, just another data property. So the main token is the Langflow token. So we just have to create that with our Keycloak integration, and that's it. Okay. So I think we're good. We're ready to code, and I think we can probably get this done in a day, although it's a lot of code. But we have a lot of help from Langflow, so at least it created the structure for us. And the diagram is actually pretty good that was generated by Langflow. So the diagram here that it created was pretty solid. So we're going to be changing, there's few touch points here that we have to do. Just API, obviously, the API is where we get access from the front end, or the front end accesses the APIs, the Keycloak SSO integration here, and then the service is the main thing where authentication happens. And once the service creates the user, that's how we're done. Send back to the login page. And the login page, if you go back here to the login page, we have, right, once you create the token, it works exactly as it did before, right? So the goal is here to create the access token, the same as Langflow access token. You just put a Keycloak in there, token, and that's it. So yeah, so I think we can make quick, safe changes here without impacting the application much. And for the DevOps, we're going to update the Prometheus metrics, and we're going to update the containers as well. But for the application, backend front end changes, we're good to go. All right. So we leave it at that. Okay. Anyways, I'm promising to get a portal up and running so we can share the different assets here, especially the Helm chart and scripts here that we have and the deployment. We might share the Terraform deployment as well. So if you want to use it with your own Terraform deployments, if you want to deploy, obviously we're not going to give you all the other Kubert tools. So you just have to customize it to your own kind of configuration or your own deployment, Kubernetes deployment. Yeah, so tomorrow we're jumping straight into backend and front-end development and running everything locally. We'll test it locally, and then we'll package it in a container. We'll update the containers, fix them up, and hopefully that's going to be it for production Langflow deployment. Anyways, that's it for me.